Hi everyone, welcome once again to this year MVP Day Online. And I'm very sure that most of us have been having a very um, exciting day, especially from any part of the world you are logging into to share this experience, especially hearing from MVP all over the world. I'm also going to join the crew and I'm going to talk about SharePoint New Future, the security that comes along with it, especially with the release of 2019, which is just around the corner before the launch comes out. And we're going to look at how it gels to modern workplace and the cost for digital transformation. My name is Sheyi Oluwawumiju, which is a very long one. And most time, I've always been winning the competition all over the world. I'm an MVP in Office Service and Hub. Sorry, that's my old label. And I'm also a Microsoft certified trainer. I'm also a MC regional lead for Nigeria. I work more as an IT consultant. I'm a trainer. I author some book, and that is my handle and also my LinkedIn in case you want to contact me. Well, there is this guy I know, my friend. He's from Portugal, and there was one day I told him to send some slides to me, and there's this capture he put there. It is that if you have a coffee in the morning, and most time money is always a very, very, very tough time for developers and IT pro. When you have worked through the night and you're waking up the second morning, your body is struggling and you're looking at how will I get up? And he said, if you don't wake up, there is a way out. Why don't you just delete one of your code in the production line? What will happen? Your eyes will open. So I guess nobody will sleep through the session and be able to look at it and get to the bottom of our discussion this morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you're coming from or you're connecting from. The agenda of today's webinar, short one, because I just have a short time to go through all what I want to talk about, is digital transformation and modern workspace. I'm also going to look at new feature of SharePoint feature, and we're going to look at security and compliance, both in Office 365 onto the SharePoint. We're going to look at a quick demonstration of SharePoint the new SharePoint admin or the Office 365 admin and see what and what that Microsoft has incorporated in order to make security viable for our data, especially for people and for our content and for our privacy. I'm going to look at the demo, and after the demo, I hopefully that you send me your questions. Since I've shown my name, my address, and my email and my handle, you can just send a mail or tell me or ask a question you want, and I'll be able to respond through the same means. Now, before we actually go on, I like to spend a few moments to look at digital transformation and modern workspace. Um, because the truth is that we are in the 22nd century where we have everything that is accelerated because of the huge data we have, and leveraging on the cloud technology, which makes it very fascinating and very, very wild and wild time. And every workforce for tomorrow's sake need to be encouraged, need to be equipped. And that's why Microsoft is spending huge amount of money to go into research and bring about new technology and change. Digital transformation has been powered by so many cloud platforms, but Microsoft Azure, which is second as the time I did this research, but as of some few weeks back, there's some report that Microsoft sale has tripled the actual prediction for over 1 year. And it shows that Microsoft is gearing up in order to empower people. And the aspect of democratization of empowering people, especially the users, on how to use this tool across board, from the cloud to the office space to every tool you use, and even relying on even artificial intelligence in order to bring out all this our ability and all this tool, enhancing it to give a betterment of not just what we do, a betterment of human race and humanity generally. So Microsoft Azure adds 42 region or more and more and more are still being added as of today. Now, the journey so far on digitalization. Now, the awareness is overwhelming, and we started with PR, radio, TV, print, and online apps, email, and every social media, review, blogs, and the rest. And the awareness that digitalization has brought about has got across every sector, every vertical, every industry, even from the farming to the health sector, to the oil and gas, to the agri sector. Everyone now is considering how to digitalize, how to move, how to change the way they're working before. The consideration has been alarming and also been increasing. And the purchase, the ability for people to purchase this solution. We have seen so many e-commerce platform, Amazon. In my local country here, there's two or three other on e-commerce platform like Amazon that you can buy online. You don't need to go to the market where you just need to stay and do your purchase, make your informed information, because they also rely on artificial intelligence to help you to land at your decision. Now, the retention is increasing. The knowledge base is increasing as of years back, maybe about 5, 10 years ago. The use and the purpose of digitalization is widely known. And the advocacy which we are doing now is more people that are literate, even the literate, the uneducated, the old, the young, cutting across age barrier of socialization have been broken down. Everybody is riding on the digitalization. I can use Uber. I can make a call through WhatsApp. I can even communicate by Facebook, and people can see me what I do at the right time at any time. And this has spurred into a new environment. This has shown us that the change of digitalization is not something that can just be taken off the shelf. Now, let's just look at Microsoft digital journey. I'm using a typical case study of Indian transformation journey. And you can see Microsoft has four pillars. The first pillar is to empower the employee. Now, we have seen great growth. As I said, I'm using Indian Microsoft journey, and especially for the people they employ and all those people they collaborate to in India and Microsoft. We notice that it has increased from where they are. It's grown up to 48%. Collaboration, sharing knowledge, especially digital knowledge, has increased. Now, Microsoft has also been able to optimize the operation, not just what they give their colleagues or their staffs, but also what they allow the system to gain. They have democratized this system so that everybody anywhere can be empowered. Now, how now this also leveraging how to engage the customer. Engagement has been very easy, unlike before that it take time, it take effort. Now you can just categorize to a mathematics to artificial intelligence, understand your customer, and even understand even their buying power, their will to buy, their will to deny, and it makes it easy for you to easily make informed decision. And finally, the transformation of the product have changed. Now we have artificial intelligence coming in, we have robotics setting in, we have machines that do what man has been able to do, unless the general purpose machine has not been able to be achieved, where it can have all the senses of woman, can feel like a human being. But the journey has started, and that is critical. So Microsoft journey also show a path to digital transformation. Now, what do you think the future will look like? Can you assume this particular workspace? What excites me about this workspace and is the color combination, even the graphics on the wall, and the way people are relaxed working, and that shows the future of modern workplace and the future of digitalization is that I can do my work anywhere, and I can also create my own world. I can do whatever I want to do in order to achieve my goal. The end goal is to be able to achieve what I set to do without any blockage or without any blocking wall. And this is what digitalization has brought to us. And as I said, there are so many tools that have been put in place to energize this this uh, this particular drive. And one of them is what we're going to look at, and that is SharePoint. So SharePoint, from historical background, started way back in 2003, and where the focus of SharePoint and generally Microsoft product line was to bring about a solution that people can use for document management, content management, and the evolution changes. With time, as realization set in, we have more feature coming in, like having artificial intelligence embedded in it, having OneDrive, which is the part of SharePoint now, where you can store, and those storage can easily be analyzed, and you can easily give permission. You can also secure your data. So the evolution has cut across so many changes. Now, in 2019, new thing is coming in, but I'll categorize it into three major new features. The first one is user experience developed through SharePoint Online. Now, although I read some publication where it still confirmed that there are still people that want to remain on-prem in terms of SharePoint offering. They still want to maintain what they have as a result of their the customization they have done, the ability to customize their workflow, the ability to create an environment that easily fits in to their processes. But SharePoint Online has also evolved, and with the new feature that is coming in, making it more flexible, and also with the ability for you to have the extension, that there is a SharePoint framework extension which will be coming very soon. I hope so. Which will give user the ability to customize your environment to just the same way you are doing on prem, but that is still coming up. So the new experience that we get through SharePoint Online has brought about a 360-degree change on like when we have previously app when 2010, where we have all the feature that reside on SharePoint on-prem. SharePoint Online is going to give us better experience, and with the integration with OneDrive, you can easily make your content, you can balance your content in the sense that you can have your document and security balance. Because the main thing Microsoft looked at is the user experience. How do users say? Yeah, we know that there's a lot of vulnerability in the system. There's a lot of hackers over there. There's a lot of people who try to steal private document or try to use every means to bring down establishment. But the truth is that how do you use this tool? The usability of this tool guarantee the adoption. So the experience aspect has not gone out, and SharePoint 2019 is going to bring more features that is going to enable and empower users to have to champion the cause of what they want, to champion the cause of what they want the design to look, and the way you want things to look through 3D vision. So all this now also help us to be able to address the issue of the user experience and how things are going to be in a couple of years, especially with the release of SharePoint 2019. Now, content engagement across browser and devices. This is one of the stumbling block the past release. With 2019, this feature is going to solve that, and the ability to scale security and compliance. And I see security and compliance to be twin. because everywhere you have security, if there is no compliance, that security is a waste of time. So Microsoft not only help you in the physical security, in guiding you in creating policy and creating walls that be able to secure your data, not just resident on the server, but anywhere the data, the content moves across users, across region, those same data carry the same security and they can easily be protected. The compliant aspect is also intertwined into the security that Microsoft is providing. So these are the new things we're going to see in 2019. Also, SharePoint 2019 will deliver an enhanced hybrid experience. As I said, Microsoft, through research, have noticed that most of their clients, especially users that use SharePoint, still also want to remain on-prem because of customization, because of adaptability, and because of things they have done on their local SharePoint, and they still want to maintain it. So with 2019, there is going to be an hybrid experience, and the experience means that whatever you are seeing online is the same thing you are seeing on-prem. The admin center will almost look alike, everything. And also, the quality of online are now available. Every quality that you see on SharePoint Online, you are going to see it on SharePoint on-prem, including modern side, communication side, upside, etc. All this now have been incorporated as a new feature we're going to see in SharePoint 2016. And I'm going to talk about one that fascinates me, and I think I need to mention it before I finish my presentation this afternoon or this morning, wherever the time zone is in your own where you're viewing me. The ability of SharePoint to improve the sharing experience. Now, over the time, the curiosity is how do we share? How do I share my content, and how do my content don't get into the hands of people that are not supposed to have it? And severally, SharePoint are put in place permission matrices which guide the policy and the process of SharePoint build up, where you cannot have access to what you don't have permission to do. Now, above that, SharePoint 2019 is going to give us an experience where whenever I want to share a folder or I want to view a folder that is shared, I will know who are the people that have the same ability or the same view with me. I can see them. I know that, okay, this content I'm viewing maybe is a very sensitive document, and I see people that are not supposed to have access. I can easily know them and take action about it. Also, the invitation now is seamless. Once once you are sent, you get instant invitation through the email, and for approval of request and denying, which takes time before, has been improved in 2019. Also, the versioning history that allow you to view. Now, in the previous release, whenever you look at your version, you can only view it. But with 2019, with the new series that is coming from now, will energize the versioning system where you can actually view your version, go back to the same version, and you can also edit it and reshare it to your colleagues. And the version history can also be maintained the same way you are having it on SharePoint. You maintain it on your storage, which is the OneDrive. That shows that I can have seamless uniformity of the way my document looks like, both on SharePoint and also on OneDrive. Security and compliance. As I said, security and compliance are interwoven, and Microsoft has a twin, which they have spent a lot of effort and research in order to build up a framework to help to bring these two together. So when you have compliance and security together, it's inevitable that you're going to get a better result. and that has been the story of SharePoint, where we have Office 365 security and compliance, which also manage every application that runs on Office 365 online, which include Exchange, OneDrive, Team, etc. Now, the same also apply to SharePoint. The security and the compliance work together. The compliance enabler, the compliance is always setting the goal that security is needed. Apart from the physical security, apart from the security that comes as a result of your data, the permission you give, user right, etc. All this is enabled and empowered and enforced by the compliance you put in place. Now let's look at security. Now, the new feature in SharePoint 2019 also ride on what had been done in the previous release, where authentication has been strengthened, where you as an individual have been classified into different levels. The documents, especially the content that you see on SharePoint, are actually people that has global rights. Also, with SharePoint 2019, there's what we call different role-based access. Now, this what is saying is that in order to secure every user, in order to make you relevant to the role you need to have, there is a differential. So wherever you are in any region of the world, whenever you want to have access to a specific document, the role you bear would always go with you, and that will determine the access you have on the corporate information that's been shared with you. So it brings about security and safety to the data that is being stored or accessed on SharePoint. Encryption is still there, where it's secure the framework of the data, and the physical and data security compliance. Now, SharePoint keep your data safe by enabling compliance, which aid also what we know as the security. Now, in SharePoint framework, especially when you go to Office 365 admin portal, the admin section of security and compliance, there's the auditing and the reporting. Now, the auditing, unlike the usual auditing and usual reporting, this span through all the content you have on SharePoint. It reports the level, the access, where the document has found, where it's coming from, where it's going, and the content is probably very, very visible to the owner and also the person viewing it. And there's an enforcement on compliance, where compliance on documents that are being used and documents that are going to be accessed. Now, data loss prevention also is embedded in the compliance um, system, where it hits any data when it's leaving the source to any point in time, or to any region, or to any place it's going. SharePoint keep your data safe. The privacy is intact. SharePoint and Microsoft don't allow you to mine those data, except you allow them, and it doesn't allow to run advert on your data, which other OEM does, and this makes SharePoint unique. The privacy is intact. Now let's quickly look at this demo, and I'll take you through the compliance system and how it looks like. Typically, this is how Office 365 security and compliance look at. The home shows you can actually enforce, especially in terms of looking at all the compliance that's all over the world, like GDPR journey. If you want to know how your establishment is doing, knowing your score, then the governance of your data, which is very key, because if there is no governance, that shows that vulnerability. And also you can see the physical management of your, which is the physical security in put place, and with you can add your span policy, you can even have your quarantine policy. All these help you. Then SharePoint now help you in order to record your score. Now, for every month, it gives you a score to know, okay, your score gives you a new way to increase security, it help you and give you an insight on what you need to do. And you can also search for content. Now, search for content help you to span not just on document that reside on SharePoint with the e-discovery and the legal aspect that we incorporated into SharePoint. You can actually take content outside SharePoint and also go into several other content provider like Exchange, etc., and Microsoft Teams. So I can search for any document. If I click on this, I don't have any data, unfortunate. And let me search for my name and let it run. Fill select location. I need to select the location. Okay, let's say all location. Let's see now. And it said put name, my name, Seyi, my name. Save it and see search for the content. Now I've told him to go through all the location. He tried to go through all the location and see where I'm actually apart from the search mechanism that we're just looking at, we also need to drill down to the Security and Compliance Center of Office 365, which is the iTarget and Office 5 Trust, which enable and empower all the application like SharePoint, guiding it through the security and that is coming their way. So I'll just guide you through the compliance site, and we have the alert system which showed you by dashboard every alert that have come through SharePoint and the visibility to view the alert, and this give you like a timely discovery. Like this now, I have an alert showing me that for my e-discovery, and e-discovery is actually a search engine that is tied to not just Microsoft SharePoint, but also is tied to other applications that runs on Office 365. And with that, I'll be able to leverage on this information to know the severity, and also there is an action to resolve it. And it empowers me as an admin and as a person that watch it over all the content that is required on SharePoint. So for now, if I want to resolve it, I click on resolve, and it said active, yes, and I save it. If it's resolved, I say okay, it is resolved, and I save. That's how I actually have to go and check for the e-discovery with this information I have there. So it's triggered by an alert of the search that is being downloaded or imported on my Microsoft account, and this will now help me. I can now close the activity. This saved me a lot of time and energy instead of digging down and trying to dig out information. And you can see from the policy I've set several policies to encourage my search to be able to elevate, especially when it comes to my admin in terms of the exchange and other information that is tied. And you can see also creation of my forwarding and redirecting rule, which is tied to the threat management solution that relies on SharePoint or any other app that runs on Office 365. So the threat management is the wall that I was talking about, the physical protection that is surrounding most of the application that runs on SharePoint or any other application that runs Office 365. So how do we manage this alert? I can actually customize my management. Now, this gives me the right, and this is tied to the cloud app security, which is a new feature that is added to Office 365, where you can actually protect your productive application in terms of those apps that your user have access to outside the normal vicinity. So that's all for alert. Let's look at permission. Now, in the light of permission, now from historical background, we know SharePoint access right, which is the metrics by which determine the value or the access you have to have
towards information that is stored on SharePoint. From 2007 to 2010, this has been the routine. But with the new feature in SharePoint Online, the other thing you can actually analyze in terms of the record management, who have access to record management. Can it be role based? Is it everybody that needs to have access? And this gives the empowerment to admin to be able to sectionalize how access can be delivered across the information that runs on SharePoint. Now, classification. Now, this is a new ties in the new C, and this is how I can actually guide my document, my information by if we notice, and from research, especially when you are working from a corporate establishment, that there's some information that is very sensitive, and there's some information that needs proper guidance in terms of who have access to, when they have access to it, how sensitive, how reliable those information, what do they do with those information. We have seen so many espionage that has happened in corporate body because this was not taken care of. With SharePoint 2019, which also it might start from 2016, obviously, where you can actually label some information, publish those information. Like the one I have here, I created one called test, and you can see it has it asks for the name, the tooltip. Why do I need this label? Maybe because of sensitive document, because of account number, or maybe because of some other feature that is very sensitive to the establishment and to the individual that has such content. Now it asks you of the encryption and how do you want to prevent it. Now after I have created it, I publish it. Now let's create one just for visibility, and I call it Sheyi 2. Then what is it for? Also for a demo purpose. Let's say second demo. And what can I describe it? Testing. Let's just put the testing to make it. Then I click next. Now the next thing it has, because for a content to be labeled, you need to encrypt it. And what is encryption? Encryption is passing this information to a secure path, and that secure path enable it not to be what to be not to allow it to get to the hands of the wrong person. So you encrypt it, and that gives you control. Control can access file, and who should not have access to a file after it has been labeled. Then the next thing is, how do you make this content? Now, content making is here refers to ability to either use a watermark. Now let me put it on so that we can have it. Either you put a watermark to it, or actually you add an header to emphasize the purpose of the labeling, the purpose of the protection of the content in on the document. And also you can also do a footer, and that footer help the person that sees it and know that okay, this is a footer determining the accessibility, the people that have access to those content. So when I click next, it takes me to another level, which is the level of trying to protect those documents in terms of, if peradventure this data leaves the portal, anywhere it goes to, with this same information, with this same security, same policy follows it in terms of making it compliance to the setup. And this, you can change this by using Intune, but every device that this data gets to follow and have the same label because it is sensitive. The next thing is for you to review. After review, you create, and you can see just as I created Sheyi 2, I'm going to create this now. You can see, and it gives me the description of it. The next thing is for me to publish it. Now, when I publish it, I'm trying to say this policy, it's inevitable attached to any document that's coming from Sheyi. So every document like my Word, my Excel, my PowerPoint, once I use this policy on specific content, it protects it across board, it labels it, and people have to follow this policy in order to have access to those documents. So in terms of publishing, I need to also choose who should have access. Who do I want to if I have so many people, let me just add it to my info, and that's it. It's done. I've added it, and next is to look at the policy. User must provide justification. Like anybody that wants to have access to it, there must be a justification to have access. I say yes, I want that, and I click next. The next thing is to reveal why you are going to save the setting. You must have a name. I can call this Shay Demo 2, and friendly description, testing on MVP online. Now I click next. I review the setting, and I make sure that everything complies to what I want to do, and I publish it. And that particular content that can I can use this label on any information that's related to me. Now the next thing is to look at the sensitive info. Those are things that is very sensitive. I can create mine. When you click on create, maybe it's not the template is not there. You can actually create a new one, and you put your friendly name, you describe it, you put what it's all about, and you read and finalize it. So let's just move on. Let's cancel this. Yes, and you can see other templates that are there defined to various country, national credit card number. You want to have your debit card number. You want to make those are the sensitive information you want to protect that the label will actually protect. What like some people want their IPs to be protected. So these are all features that you can actually use the label in there for. So let's quickly move to data prevention. And for us to have a data prevention, we must create a policy, and that policy help to guide the compliance of every content that leaves SharePoint. Now, if I create one here, what kind of policy I want, what kind of data prevention policy I want. Is it relating to my privacy? Is it relating to my medical and health? Is it relating to my financial information like financial data? And also, it also cuts across the region. There's some templates, although Nigeria is not here, but you can see Western Europe, you can see every other nation that has been built as a template. So once you choose, maybe it's Canadian, I want to, you can see help to detect presence information commonly considered to be financial data in Canada. Now, this aid you to prevent data, to prevent loss of data, loss of information to people that likely don't need to have it. So for Canada, Microsoft has actually streamlined such information related to the credit card and also the Canada bank account. So I choose this now. I'm ready to do it. Now, the next thing for me is to create a name for it. Okay, it's already created. Just share demo 2. I'm still demonstrating actually. Then I choose a location, all location options including Exchange email, including my OneDrive or SharePoint documents. I want to prevent anything that comes in contact with Canadian card and Canadian. So detect when this content is shared. Yes, I want people even outside when it is shared. I want to know when this content that relate to my credit card or to my Canadian card is shared. I want to have visibility to who is sharing it and why and when. Also, notification. Now, you can notify user when the content match the policy. It tells me and send an email, and you can avoid it. And you say you can put the instance like for this by default is 10. And I said next, I'm going to follow the default setting. The next thing is for me to review it. You want it to turn on the policy things out of first, or I like to test it out first, and which is natural. We need to test it out first, then you review it, then you create the policy. Once the policy is created, then your data loss prevention is actually activated to prevent any information that get out and anything that is related to Canadian financial data. Other thing is the trend management and data governance, where you can actually govern the label, check what and what is there. Another feature that I want us to look before and I leave here is the search, and you can search content, you can search content, you can audit even your search. That will audit the content, where the content is going, and you can ask feature is still there, which has a dashboard. It gives you all the information about that. And service assurance tell you the assurance you have in terms of compliance report, the trust document, compliance setting, etc. Let's go back to our slide so that we can if there's any question, please, my email is sheyioluwaogunmiju@hotmail.com, and I showed it while we did our first the first page. Please, you can send me an email, and I'll be expecting any feedback from you. Thank you for this.